See? And look. See? It was a setup. I don't know. Y'all YouTubers are setting me up or something. And if you don't know what you're doing and you're not used to this, you're not like one of those YouTubers, don't be excited and be like, oh, snip, snip, snip. No, take your time. Take your time. Don't be dumb. What's up, you guys? My name is Shaynawheatley, aka Miss Kisses or Miss Red Kisses if you must, and I am back with another video. What is going on? Welcome in to 2020, this new year. If you want to know how I made this bob and glow up how I did real quick, well, it wasn't quick. It wasn't quick at all. Like me, stay tuned for this video. Now, I know I'm going to speed up some of the things in this video, and it's like, let me just cut through the video. Don't do it. Watch it from the beginning to the end, because in this video, in the speeding up, I have a lot of tips and tricks on things that you need to know in order to successfully make this bob. There are things that I did that was good, things that I did that was wrong, things that I'm like, okay, now I know not to do. Cut it on the wig head, and then when I put it on myself, it was uneven, and I'm like, nah, that looked dumb. Those who are beginners, I want you guys to know the mistakes I made so you do not have to make them and not just be like, oh, yeah, I kind of seen it. I seen this all the time. Yeah, let me do. No, you're gonna want to stay tuned for this. So please don't fast forward it. Like, watch everything and listen to all the details, because you want to have a bomb look like this. So stay tuned. This is the wig head that I'm going to use. I'm going to use a size 20. I don't know what happened to the number, but the number was on it. It is a size 22. My head is like a size 22. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like this is a little bit bigger, because I do have like a small little peanut head under here. But yeah, I got a 22 from when I measure my circumference. All right, so I am back. Why did I say it like that? Let's try this again. All right, this is something that I didn't know a long time ago. This right here is the front of where your face is, and back here would be the cap. So this would be like basically the nape of your head, the cap. This is where the cap would sit. So I'm gonna put this on. Also, when I first started, I made a few wigs. Some I made, it came out good, and some I was like, eh. So every time I make a wig, I get nervous. So boom. So I used to do this. Don't do this. Do not do this. So boom, I used to do this. Have it sit like this. I was like, all right, because you know my head is gonna be like this. Ain't wrong. So you gotta make sure this is your face. I might have to do a face on it. So this is your face. So you have to bring it under the nape, like so. And yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest, if you're supposed to stretch it out like that much like this or not. But I know I see some people do, some people don't. I don't know, but this is what I'm going with. Boom. I'm going with this. The in-between. Yep. So I'm going to take my T-pins. Oh, I got this off of Amazon, I believe. I'll link it below. T-pins I got off Amazon as well. I'm going to link that below. These are like the pins that just holds the wig in place. And I have my regular pins for sewing, because I don't know where all my T-pins went for some reason. So I'm going to just hold that down in place. So what I like to do first is I'm definitely going to sew this on first, but I'm going to sew this by hand because I don't trust myself. I don't trust myself using the sewing machine just yet. So, and I don't want to mess up this, because once I mess up this, it's a wrap, but I'm going to be tight. So I put this on wherever I feel like the center is. So sometimes I either just put it on like this and just be like, all right, this is going to be the center. Or I take it and I do like a little center part with a comb and then I put it on to see where the wig is, where I want the wig to lay. But also, there's three, I don't know if you can really see it, but there's 3 lines. And the middle line, of course, is where your center would be. So you can also use that to line it up and let that be your center. So you want to make sure you keep gauging it to see how you want it. I know sometimes some people pull it down past where the cap starts, and some people like it on the mark. I've tried both. I don't know which one I want just yet, but we're going to see today.
Put it down. I'm going to tell you why in a second. I am about to take it off as well. Just to make sure it's really secure. Okay.
So what I'm going to do is, so I don't mess up, I like to outline where I have my closure. And I always sew down my closure first, so you can always skip this step if you want. Now, I'm just going to do some lines like this across so I know where I'm sewing.
Yeah. With these lines, you can just put the lines where you want to put them. It's up to you. Just know how close or how far you want it to be away from each other. And also, if you think that it's like too far away, remember this is when the cap is spread out and pulled like as if it's on your head. So when it's close together, it'll look more together. So you don't have to put the lines that close.
And if you need to fill in later on, just fill in between. That's it. I want to make a bob, so I don't even want like it to look super thick. It's so much track. Now you don't have to use chalk. You can use like a color pencil, like a color eyeliner pencil, or something that's a little bit more pigmented that's going to show up. For right now, when I get to the top, I might make the lines a little closer, so the top could look like it's definitely fuller. Yeah, I might hand sew some in between in case I see something that I wanted to fix. So these are the lines. So I forgot to mention, when you're putting your cap, your closure on, you want to make sure that it's sitting flat in the front, and then you pull it in the back, so that way it's no like what's it called, like gapping like this, no bunching when you're ready to put it on. So this is the thread that I have. This is hair thread. You want to make sure you use a curved needle, because that's going to help you get through the hair instead of a straight needle. For those who didn't know that. There might be one little sad, helpless girl that's like, I give up, I can't do wigs. And they might look at my video and be like, yo, she says she don't always know how to do wigs, but look at this. She slayed this. Hopefully I slayed it. Or like, you know, see my Instagram and be like, boom. All right, her wigs don't be looking crazy, so she doing something right. You want to make sure you go down, under. Also with this, before I've accidentally sewn my wigs to this because of the fabric. So just be careful when you're sewing that you don't go like this by accident and dig into. You see that? You don't want to dig into it and then by accident have to start all over because you sewed your whole wig cap to the head. I'm finally finished with my closure. You want to tie it at the end and make sure you have the knot in a place where you cannot see it when you put your tracks on. So once again, tie the thread in a place where you can't see where you're putting your tracks on. You also want to make sure you take the cap off your head and try it on your hair to see how you want it to be placed. So now I have the track ready to be sewn on. So I have the track. I'm putting it on the white lines that we made earlier. I'm going to sew it a little bit. Then I'm going to back stitch it to make sure it's not going to unravel. and then continue to sew down. Now when I get to the end, I'm going to do that same back stitch before I cut the weft. If you want to see how I thread the machine, let me know down below so I can do that in another video when I try to do this again. For this project, I am using a zigzag stitch because this is a stretchy material. The length and width I have at the number 3. The tension I have at the number 4. And for the needle position, it is at 0. Now I am done with that part. I'm cutting the track, and the reason why I'm deciding to cut the track is because I don't want to do the fold over method, because I don't want it to look bulky. Since I'm doing a bob, I want it to be a blunt bob, so I don't want to have so much bulk on this wig. Woo! I'm hyped. The only thing I think I need to do is probably stretch it out. Do not do that. Don't stretch the cap. When I started to stretch the cap out as I was sewing, that was a huge mistake that I learned to not do. As you can see on the left, the cap looked like it's stretched out and the lines are basically no longer straight. So whatever you do, do not stretch the cap. That did not work. I thought since it was stretchy material, I needed to stretch it out to make sure it was being stretched with the cap so it can stretch around my head. But obviously that was wrong. It's going to be fine if you just put it in the machine and you can tug on it a tiny bit, but do not stretch it out, because that was my mistake. And you don't want to walk around with a big old stretchy cap. What happened was my cap ended up being really, really loose, and I had to take apart my tracks and continue to do it over and over and over. And I was getting annoyed at that, and it was taking too long, so I ended up hand sewing the rest. So there are 3 tracks that I have successfully did that is sewn from the machine, and the rest I ended up hand sewing because I got really tired and I wanted to just finish. I will definitely attempt to do it since I know better in another video, but for this video, I'm just going to let you guys know I hand sewed it. When I finished sewing all of the tracks on, I started to flat iron the hair. Now, when I got to the top, I tried to take smaller pieces so that way I won't have that, I don't know, what is it called? That line, that indent demarcation line that you can get from the flat iron. So I did it in smaller pieces so that wouldn't happen, as well as I had my hot comb and I used that so that way I can have a nice sleek look at the top. As I'm editing this video, I noticed that this video will be super, super long, and no one wants to sit through a 40-minute video. So you're going to have to watch part 2 if you want to see me cut and style the wig into its final look. In that video of styling, I definitely still have some tips on the best way to cut the wig into a bob, because the way that I see people do it has not worked for me. So I wanted to show a different way that I decided to do it that might help some people who are beginners. Y'all, I'm hyped. Ooh, it's weird. Ah! It's not even the done, and they came out looking good.